Alright, so welcome to another episode. Today's going to be kind of a quick day. It's about 12 o'clock now, so I got about 5 hours to do everything I need to do, which is never enough time, right? So update, well, the 6.4 will be back in the videos because the volume control valve failed on me 2 days ago. If you remember correctly, I pulled both sensors off of the spare pump and put them on that. The pressure sensor's still fine, but the volume sensor just it dies. It left it flat out, just stopped working. So the truck you couldn't do anything besides idle. Anytime you try, because of course when you try to give it throttle right, you're going to use more fuel volume because you're having to compress more to generate more fuel. And well, the volume control valve just doesn't work. So so she's down for the count currently, and we will have to pull the pump back out. I'm probably going to put the old sensor back on it because I cannot find a replacement sensor. I've been looking everywhere, and the only closest thing I can find is that there's a 2-liter diesel engine that Volvo and Ford use in European cars, and it has the metering valve, as they call it, the volume valve. Looks about damn near the same as what's on the K16 pump. So I'm trying to figure out a way to find that sensor off those. But for now, I'm going to put the sensor that I have on the pump that's in there, that originally came off the truck, and put it back on there, and then we're going to put it all back together and hope to God it works, right? So otherwise I'll be buying another freaking K16 pump, which is whatever, right? So today we're going to be working on the 2024 Ram 2500 6.7 Cummins diesel. This is the one that was dropped off before because some other shop put a diet plan on it and they couldn't end up programming it correctly, and because everybody's a bunch of wannabes and wants to do these trucks, yada yada yada. But we're going to do it right, so I gotta hang on. Alright, as I was saying, apparently, so that'll be working on that. The sensor off 2.0 liter diesels, the volume regulator looks about the same. So we're going to put we got the ECM for this thing sitting right there. Brand new Cummins ECM. We got the Banks intake, and we got a cold air intake they want to put on this truck. I'm not a big cold air fan, but it's what they want to do, right? So we're going to do that. This truck's here for a VP44 swap, although we were going to pretty much, the pump that's on it he bought from some reman place, which can't build a pump with shit apparently, and pump failed within 5 miles. Threw a bunch of codes. He called them. They said they had to warranty it out, yada yada. The original pump that was on the truck, it kept dead pedaling randomly. So typically I can get a really good pump for these trucks from Houston, which is here local, and I can get them normally pretty quick, like within 12 hours. And right now I guess they don't have any in stock. So the closest one they're coming from is from Detroit. And that's won't be here till Thursday. So we've already paid to order it. I'm just waiting to see. We got the whole box of it fine. Waiting to see on his response what he wants to do, right? Because that's going to delay us every bit about 7 days. So that's what that truck's here for. So I'm gonna wait for him to figure out what he wants to do with that. But for now, we're gonna focus on this thing. We need to get this truck done, get it out of here, and once he gives me the okay on that, we'll tear it apart. Otherwise, it will be waiting. So that's where we're at. So let's dive into this thing and tear this old girl apart. Alright, so the intake is off. I freaking, I don't know if you can see that. I'm hard to get a good angle of that. Look at that thing. That's a freaking underskin blood blister under the nail. Well, you know, they just make these things more and more complicated. These are easy. These are harder. It seemed like they changed something with these in the 19s. I'd have to look at my rail and see what's different. Because my rail resembles more of the traditional 6.7 rail. I think they changed a couple things with these. So, these as well have a volume regulator valve. So kind of like what I was talking about, like on my 6.4. The only difference is the volume valve on my 6.4 is a low pressure volume valve. So it actually regulates the volume of the low pressure fuel going into the pump. Now these regulate the volume on the rail. So this sensor does not give a shit about the rail pressure. See, this is the rail pressure sensor. It cares about the rail pressure because that communicates to the ECM, tells the ECM how much pressure is on the rail, which, and depending on what the load demand is of the truck, it'll tell this sensor here, the IPR, injection pressure regulator, to raise or lower, which is just a valve. So the more close it goes, the more pressure it'll generate, because it's a positive displacement pump. That's how we generate fuel pressure, right? So it's a three, I think the CP3s, I'm pretty sure the 3 piston pumps. So pretty much it just goes from one chamber, compresses the one, compresses the other, and compresses the three. So it's a 3-stage pump, building up pressure to, of course, deliver fuel to the rail, therefore giving you injection pressure or atomized diesel, right? So so this just controls the volume on the rail that way. If you're, you know, going from, say you're pulling a trailer and you're going uphill, I mean, you're going to be using a lot of fuel, so the volume valve will be pretty much closed because there's nothing to really let off, and the IPR is going to be quite a bit open because it's good, you're going to be needing it. And then when you let off, the IPR will go closed, and then the volume valve will go open to release some of the volume off of the rail, which indeed will lower the pressure, right? So this pressure is measured by resistance to flow. Just a bunch of physics is all it is. So this is the factory intake, right? This is a Cummins intake. This is a grid heater. That's the magical bolt there that falls off. Is this really that common? No. Again, as I've said before, it's more common in northern states, just because of the temperature changes, as well as if you run emissions on these trucks longer, because the carbonic acid. Oh yeah, here we go. We get to know some more chemical or chemistry. Look out for this stuff. The carbon, which is carbonic acid, does corrode away the metal. Of course, and then having dramatic temperature changes, so if you live in cold climate where this heater grid is used more, there's going to be more temperature on that bolt, therefore causing more corrosion, which will indeed leading to the bolt completely corroding away, and the nut will fall off and find its way into a cylinder. That's what everybody's afraid of. Southern states, where we stay hotter, it is not so much of an issue. If you were to leave, or even if you were to not have emissions on your truck, the chance of this happening is lowered dramatically. Like in this situation, this truck's at 30,000 miles, very early in its lifespan. Doing this or having it on a diet program is far better for the lifeline of this truck, right? Much as the EPA tells you it's for the environment. No, you kill the environment with emissions, but that's an argument for a different day. Emissions kills these engines all the way around. All of them. Duramax, Powerstroke, Cummins, Detroits, John Deere engines, Caterpillar, everything. Emissions kills these things dramatically. Yanmar. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what causes that. The carbonic acid corrodes it away, yada, yada, yada. So, of course, with this stuff here, getting rid of that, right? So this is the new intake from Banks. It has no grid heater in it at all. So the grid heater instead will be inside the intake horns. We're going to put ours right there in the middle. And it is actually this. So it's a big resistor coil. Works about the same as that. This sends a bunch of voltage through it. It resists. It gets hot. Heats the air. Causes better combustion on a cold start, right? So that's really all we're doing here, since these trucks don't have glow plugs, although the new Cummins do. So that's what we're doing. Nothing crazy, right? It sounds like a bunch of science. It's really not. Just know there's a lot more to these trucks than just you put oil in it and turn the key, right? There's a lot of physics, there's a lot of chemistry involved in this. It looks like it wants to rain. It's awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and get this on here. That's really all we got to do. We ain't got a whole lot left to do. So I really hope it doesn't rain. Feels good though. We'll check the forecast here real quick, because now I'm curious. Is it gonna rain? Is it not gonna rain? Let's see. Weather Channel, tell me what you know. Thunderstorms possible after 3 p.m. It's now 1 o'clock. Let's see here. Hourly. It's definitely going to rain tonight, that's for sure. That's okay. And probably around 5 o'clock. So, well, let's stop goofing off and get this thing back together. So we're going to put the intake on, get all that stuff on, and then I'm going to go out to the ECM because it's easier to get the ECM out from up here than it is down there. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get after it before the rain decides to come. Because, you know, God forbid the weather likes to work in my favor, right? It always works against me. So let's get after it. Alright, so this one's done. I'll pop the hood on it. Got his edge up there. Also got his Banks Ram Air or Monster Ram, there you go. Monster Ram intake in. All that's in here nice and bolted up. Looks nice and pretty. All the new lines are in there. I'm not a big fan of the Banks number one. These lines that they give you are prone to crack for the number one injector line. And it's just really bulky. It's so excessive. Like, good God, this thing it just clutters. There are better solutions. I don't know, to me, like, I think the Black Market Performance intake with the low profile that goes directly into the front and feeds back, I think that's pretty damn good. That's just me. It's just my opinion, right? I mean, depending on the application. If we're putting like a shit ton of power, you know, freaking twins or whatever the hell. We need to throw a lot of air. I can get it. And the cold air intake, we did not do the cold air intake because, well, it didn't fit. Go figure. Plus, it looks kind of goofy, you know. It kind of like makes all this look pointless. This is here, and this is just going to be there without the. Whatever. So we went back to put the factory air box. I kind of gave them my opinion on it, and they're like, "Yeah, we should probably just keep the factory air box." I was like, "That's what I would do," but whatever. So she's all good now. There were bolts missing out of the ECM. I guess they must have pulled the ECM out, but whatever. So it's done right this time. It's all good. So I'm waiting on them to come get this truck. We did our little drive in and everything looks good. It drives great. It's definitely got a lot more power now. She has no problem moving. And then this is the truck we're pulling the VP out of. You can tell that VP is pretty damn new. And we got the old VP he pulled off. Oh, that fucking truck locks itself. So I gotta keep the key close. But so we're gonna just start pulling this apart. That's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna start pulling it apart until they get here. And then of course it's Valentine's Day today, so I'm going to take my beautiful woman out to eat, because that would be wise for my decision and my health, because if I do not do that, and you know, she'll be mad. So for the sake of my health physically and mentally, it'd probably be better to do that. That's what we're gonna do though. We're just gonna start tearing this thing apart. Definitely has a valve cover leak on this old grill, as we can tell, clear as day. Golly, it must. I wonder if he'll let us fix that while we're here. Might as well. Whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's start tearing this thing apart real quick and put some tools up, and then we'll tear this apart until they come up. Once they get here, then we'll call it quits. Alright, well, we got it apart completely, so that's good. Broke record time, actually. So there's the pump missing. Take our key here. We'll close the hood, because we will not have this pump, a new one, until Thursday. It looks like to me he didn't align the pump right, so hard to tell. Oh, yeah, so there's the pump I pulled off. But the keyway was actually kind of like wedged into the shaft, so I don't think it was actually lined up right, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm going to call him and ask him about it. I took some pictures of it, but we're done with that. The 2024 is gone, and that's it. We're going to finish putting up, and then I'm out of here. All a day's work. Not too bad. I think it's the fastest I've ever pulled a BP44 off. Thanks. Where I think probably that was what, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, if that. Shit. Not too bad. Not too bad. That's gonna be it though. So I'll see y'all in the next one.